I've been improving my communication skills for almost 4 years now. And in that time, I went from having social anxiety and being introverted to being someone who can go out, speak to anyone, be a social butterfly, and speak to anyone, anytime, anywhere very easily. And one of the main things which I noticed, or one of the things which I learned through these last close to 4 years, was the power of intention. What I mean by this is I realized just how many people, most people in life live with this kind of autopilot kind of way of thinking and way of acting, where they don't really have an intention behind anything. They will go out in town, for example, if we're talking about social skills, and they'll talk to a bunch of people, maybe talk to some girls, but when they come home, they didn't really make any progress, didn't really improve their social skills or their confidence or anything, simply because they did everything on autopilot. There was no intention behind it. I have an entire module on this that you can check out by clicking on the first link in the description. But how you can kind of imagine this is when you have intention, you're able to focus on your weak areas. You're able to focus on the things which you want to improve specifically, and you're able to kind of attack the things which are which bring you anxiety, which are kind of hard, which are difficult, which require discipline. When you do things on autopilot, you don't really have any intention behind the things that you do. You kind of just follow your brain, your lizard brain, and you let it command you. And your brain will always lead you to the most comfortable solution. That's just how it's wired. So if the most comfortable solution for you is maybe not speaking to those girls, or maybe speaking to that group of people instead of the other group of people, or maybe kind of looking at the floor when you're speaking to this person, or whatever it may be, it will lead you to do the more comfortable thing. It will lead you to stay inside your comfort zone and not improve. It will kind of be like doing things without intention would be like if you were playing this video game and you get to the boss fight, right? And you defeat the boss, right? The first time, let's say you use intention and you defeat the boss, right? And you level up. But then instead of using intention and moving up to a more difficult boss and beating him and improving, because you're on autopilot, you're not having any intention, not thinking about it. You just keep defeating the same boss over and over and over again. At this point, it's not even hard, it's not difficult, it's easy. You just keep defeating the same boss over and over again, running around in circles, and you end up making no progress. You think at the end of the day, you think, oh, you must have made some progress, right? For the entire day, you were out, you were speaking to people, you were social, right? You were defeating a boss for the entire day, but you don't make any progress because you've been defeating the boss, which you've already defeated. You're fighting the enemy, which it's not even uncomfortable or difficult or requires discipline to fight anymore. And because of that, you get no improvement. Most people live their lives like this. Like there have been, for example, lab studies, right? Done, which I read in some books, where you know how there's people who've been working like office jobs and they've been typing on keyboards for like 40 years straight. And yet their typing speed never really goes above a certain number, right? Let's say, I don't know, like 100 words per minute, right? Just to pull like a random number, right? But then there's some groups of people who've been typing for only a few years and yet their words per minute were like 200, 300. The only difference between one group of people and the other group of people, even though Group A, who've been working for 40 years, have way more experience typing than Group B had the intention to improve. Group A was just typing mindlessly for 40 years, whatever. Group B was specifically like, all right, I'm typing like this. What is my weak area? Ah, this is it. I'm gonna target that. All right, what do I need to improve? Let me try moving my fingers quicker. Let me try this technique. Let me try doing this. Let me try doing that. Let me train every single day, right? Intention is the thing that got these Group B to within a few years surpass and double, triple the results of Group A, who've been doing it 10 times longer. That is the power, the immense power of intention. It not only allows you to target weak areas and to focus on things which you want to improve at, and use discipline and everything to improve at them. It also helps you to kind of progressively overload. As you get better and better at something, again, you're using intention, you notice, okay, this thing that's kind of been hard is now easy. Let me switch to this other thing which is hard now, because doing this thing is going to give me more improvement, right? Maybe speaking to girls, right, got kind of easy. So now let me try speaking to groups of girls, or let me try speaking to groups of people, or it's very specific to everyone's situation. But when you use intention, when you consciously think about what you're doing, that is when you improve. But the moment you switch to a kind of autopilot, you're not thinking about it, the progress just gets lost. If you want to improve your communication skills very quickly, you want to learn the best information that I've gathered up over the last almost 4 years that I've been studying and going into the field and using this topic and these tips that I've learned from books and videos, you can check out the first link in the description. It will take you to my course, which is where I've created this protocol which will get you your dream social life that you want. If you found this video helpful, I think you'll find a lot of value in this video right here. Click on the subscribe button and do the work.